These guys are crazy.
What he do?
Huh?
What he do?
No, he was like,
What was wrong?
he out there telling everybody, man. Anyway, man. I was thinking about, when we first started this thing,
Mhm.
we were talking about trying to do the 7 days straight, right?
Right.
And yesterday we had that hiccup. So
Mhm.
I was like, do we have to start over now?
Nope. This day two. Day two because that wasn't our fault. That was not our fault, man. We would have recorded.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
I
It's
mean,
only one though.
unless you want to. I mean, that's
I'm,
fine with
I'm
me.
gonna go ahead and restart the clock. I'm gonna go ahead and restart the clock.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Restart the clock. Let me. So yesterday, when we were going to be talking, right?
Mhm.
Uh, this is that book that I was talking about.
Your
I know it's
father's.
back. Your father's story.
Mm-hmm.
So it says your father's story. Um, Dad, I want to know everything about you. So the instructions: give this book to your father to fill out and return back to you. Right.
I saw. Yes. Okay. So that's
Ooh.
what that book was.
Yeah. So I bought it, and what I was originally going to do is um I was going to do these on video. So I was gonna make like private videos, like a collection for the kids.
Mm.
I was gonna go through and I was gonna answer these. You know what I'm saying? Just just so that they would have one day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Maybe if some changes, I would go back and do like a part two. You know, Daddy's opinions and change a little bit.
I've outgrown.
But so there's chapters in here. I don't know why I keep showing this because they're all backwards, but it's
I got close to.
it's 6 chapters. First one's about our family. Second one is when you were young. The third one is your adolescent years. The fourth one is things you learned about life. The fifth one is growing older. And the sixth one is becoming a dad. And so they have these questions in here, like when you were young, it's asking like, what did you want to be when you were little? In other words, what did you dream about becoming when you grew up? Um, what was the scariest moment from your childhood? What kind of student were you? And did you belong to any like groups or cliques?
Do you remember all that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could talk at length about a lot of this stuff. What was the biggest lie you ever told growing up, and who did you tell it to? So, um, these I'm still doing that, but these I'm utilizing for like personally, like for my kids and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, in regards to some of the ones I thought, dipping my toe in the water, you know what I'm saying, getting used to this, people getting used to, you know, us talking. I feel like there's some questions in here, more or less about like growing up, you know what I'm saying? Not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily personal when we were young, but more or less like things, we learned as adults.
Oh,
So, so there's a chapter in here, things you learned about life.
still living.
And, huh?
I'm still living.
Yeah, you're still living. So There was this question here that says, "Where did your life take an unexpected turn, and how did it happen?" I was like, I, I may revisit that one. I'll revisit that one uh, later. But for the longest, I've been trying to answer this question, and this is the one we're talking about tonight.
Hmm.
What was the most important thing you learned about relationships?
Uh,
Mm.
you want me to answer?
So
Am I going
so
first?
so
Am I going
so
first?
you get one shot. You know what I'm saying? You have your kids in front of you. You know what I'm saying? They're sitting right here. You
Mhm.
have one thing to tell them that they're going to take out into the world and live by.
Uh,
What do you tell them is the most important thing you've learned about relationships? And let me by relationships, we're talking about any kind, romantic, friendships. You know what I'm saying? Professional. It, your what is it? Union. Your interaction with a person. Period.
oh, damn. Um,
Or like I be telling my
it's
daughter,
like,
per.
but I feel like, okay, you can't just say just one thing because there's different types, and not each of them.
Have you ever seen one of them rings that like it has a bunch of pegs in it? You know, and you like drop the thing at the top and it
Oh yeah,
bounces.
yeah, yeah. The little clear, and then they just.
You're right. Right. There's a lot of pegs, but at the bottom it filters into two, or at the bottom, it's going to come down to one concept. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of little ones, but if you had to uh,
Um,
the foundation on which they'll build, they'll go forth into the world. What do you tell them?
um, regardless of what relationship you're in, regardless of who that person is. I was talking to my child. Um, why I gotta go first? Um, I'm trying to think because it's like it's different just because of the relationships. It's like my relationship with my mother is not the same as my relationship with a friend or an associate or a coworker.
What
But but
exactly?
I was
No,
what
go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
if I was to say as far as a relationship, as far as building a bond with someone, um get to know yourself first. On one thing, get to know yourself first
That's a good one.
before allowing.
That's a good one. That's a good one. And I'm going to tell you why that's a good one because have you ever seen Maslow's? Is that what it is? Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Mm-mm.
So you have like certain things. There's like a pyramid. I'm gonna try to freestyle this, and if I can't get it right, I'm gonna have to look it up. So at the very base of this pyramid, are the things, basically the things that you need, right, as a human being. So at the very bottom, it is things like you need food, water, sleep, like the things that your body needs, you know what I'm saying, to function and exist. You need all these things, right?
Right.
So uh, the second layer is basically safety. You need to feel safe. The third one is the third one is relationships. You know what? I'm gonna look it up because I don't want to go through this at all. It's I want to sound smoother. I wanted to sound smart and it was not working.
Why? Why you want to sound smart? You didn't know.
I wanted to act like social.
You
So it's
about to say
social.
pretend.
You said what?
You about to say pretend.
Chill out. So this is it's physiological. At the very least, we don't want to be hungry, thirsty, exhausted, freezing, overheating, sick, or in pain.
Mhm.
Then it's safety. If we feel okay in the exact moment, we then also need to feel safe and confident. We can avoid pain, hunger, and other dangers in the immediate future. Um, so in our society, like that's where a lot of times where there's like, that like things like financial maybe fit in there. You know what I'm saying? Like financial safety. I can reasonably afford a comfortable lifestyle. Then the next one is social. Those are your relationships. Romantic relationships, friendships, um, relationship with family. Then after that, it's self-esteem. Now, I haven't. I'm pretty sure. Well, it's self-esteem, and then once you get to self-esteem, there's self-actualization. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You know your place. You know your place in this space, right? So one of the things that I don't know, I was kind of going back and forth on is I feel like that that esteem and relationship one are kind of flipped to some degree. Where but I guess maybe you need
You're
relationship.
breaking up.
Am I?
Hmm. I mean, you're not right now, but I don't. I kind of don't know what you just said.
Oh, so I was saying that. So sometimes you have. I was getting ready to say I feel like those are flipped, right? So I was going to say, can you actually develop your self-esteem without the interaction with those relationships? With those relationships with those people, family, friends. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes,
can you find yourself in this place with none of that at all? And I guess you could.
with none of that at all, like,
None of that
or
at all.
and at the time of you trying to find yourself, or are you talking about to build up that self-esteem or
See,
whatever, or are you talking about completely or just that time?
See, I don't know. See, I don't know what point we're talking about because I've always thought about it in regards of in adulthood that I can't build necessarily healthy relationships until I know who I am.
Right. Yes. But
You know what I'm saying?
but it's like it's a continuous thing though. You're never stop knowing who you are just because of there's experiences that you haven't experienced yet to put you to the test as far as how you're going to react to it, or maybe you didn't know you felt this way about it because versus
But
because like when you watch something on TV versus seeing it in person, it's a totally different feeling. Like I can
well,
watch spiders all day on TV, but if I see a spider, I'm running. So it's a different type of reaction. Um, So it kind of, I feel like, yes, what you're saying is, I agree with you're saying as far as an adult of getting to know yourself, because that's where it kind of, I guess that's kind of where, how would you say this? As like when we're at this age now where we done playing games, we done doing
Right.
the BS and all that crap. So it's like that right there is, we've already experienced it to know that's not us no more. We don't want to do that. You see what I'm saying?
Whenever we talk about like growth, I always wonder like, I always try to think of an example of that, and I can never come up with a good one.
What you mean?
So like as we grow, we do have more experiences. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But I feel like those experiences at the end of the day they either like support or they support our either support or oppose like an opinion that we already have.
Explain. What do you mean?
Okay. We'll go with what we were talking about the other day. You know what I'm saying? In regards to men needing therapy. You know what I'm saying? I could grow up and like we were talking about yesterday, the concept, the whole idea. I'm growing up. I've been told since I was little. You know what I'm saying? Things like you don't cry, you don't share your problems. Uh, just all these things. I think the other day, I think Shaq had a little thing and he had said, you know, you never tell, what I'm saying, you don't ever tell your woman like your secrets or something. It was something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't tell her how you feel or something like that. And I was like, terrible advice. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, look at Shaq. You can't. You see, he is someone that regrets his marriage. I mean, his regret not being with her no more. So it's like,
Yeah,
don't even listen to him because of what happened to with his life. So it's like that's when people start giving advice when they shouldn't,
yeah.
because
Well,
you don't know
unfortunately,
yourself yet for you to be giving out advice, because you're in you're in that position.
yeah, yeah,
Not saying like
yeah,
just for that. I'm just talking about for anybody like it, trying to give advice and you ain't got your
yeah.
shit together.
So, I grow up, and at what point in time do I come up and I denounce that and say, you know what, that actually wasn't correct. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm, yes.
and then what do you need? Do you need like one example? Do you need three examples?
Three.
Do you need,
Three.
do you need 10? You know what I'm saying? How many do you need before you say, you know what, that's not right? And feel like I feel like grading out. In class, when the teacher would be like, everybody, you're just going to grade your own paper. You know what I'm saying? Who's and they're not really watching who's really going to mark their problems wrong if they have the capacity. You know what I'm saying, to change it and register it as correct.
Right. Who gonna
You
change
know.
the answers?
Yeah, and unfortunately when we do that, we kind of we never log them as mistakes, so we don't learn from them. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't register them. We don't necessarily register them as mistakes, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
that's an example I was talking about.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I grew up, and this is just something I don't need 17 experiences to just be like, you know what? I should be able to share my feelings. You know what I'm saying? It's like, the first time I punch a hole in the wall, maybe that's the time we start saying like, hey, you're not handling yourself. You're not handling yourself properly.
We we need to reevaluate this situation.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe something deeper going over here.
Oh yeah.
But I do like, but going back to that whole Maslow thing, right? Man, see, this is why I need to do this with somebody. You know what I'm saying? I need to do this with somebody so that I can, you know, uh, have some feedback, because I'll lock in. I'll lock in on my own stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll be like, okay, all that individual stuff that I've been thinking has been right, because I don't really have any opposition. But now I got to go back to the drawing board.
Drawing board about what though? What you going back to the drawing board for?
Well, what you said, but you know what you said, it is. I think what you said is a foundation for everything, though. You know what I'm saying? It's a foundation for even moving through the world. Period.
Yes.
Is you have to find yourself first. You know, I'm big on that with my kids. I'm big on that with my kids, right? Like when we're young. There you go. Yeah, it froze a little bit. But yeah, I think it's just one of those things. Like what we try to do is I'm trying to find the things that bring them joy. You know what I'm saying? As human beings, and then like try to support that as kids to the point where we can find occupations. You know what I'm saying? For you to experience that. You know, try to experience that as much as possible, so that you can eventually get paid to do things that you love doing. You know,
Yes.
and the earlier we can find that, you know what I'm saying, the earlier we can find that, we can start nurturing that, you know, at an early age, you know.
Yes. And it's okay to get outside of your box to do that, because you are going to have to do that. You you disagree?
Well, I'm just saying, I'm no, I agree with you.
Oh,
I agree with you. The
because
problem is, I was just shaking my head because you're absolutely right, but I was just saying that most people probably don't even believe that they're in a box. Most people believe that they have 100% created themselves. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
That's why I was saying that. That's why I was saying that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's okay just because, like, my daughter's going through that. Out, she's putting herself in this box, and it's like she became introvert. She called herself an introvert. So she's, I don't want to say like she's forcing, but it's more she just has no motivation to want to socialize or want to go try new things, to experience it, to even see if she likes it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I know I won't like it. And it's like, you ain't even tried it yet. Just like go to therapy, men in therapy. You ain't gonna do it, but you never tried it. So people aren't gonna try, they never try. And that's where I've learned about myself, is that, and you know me, I'll try, yeah, I'll try it. Because either for one, it's an experience. I can say I've done it. And for two, I might like that. Like farming. Farming. I'm gonna tell you this. I went to IUPUI. I had a scholarship at IUPUI, and from high school for mechanical engineering technology. I did an intern at Rolls Royce.
Okay. Okay.
I only did one semester at IUPUI, left. Ended up going into the medical field. Did that for about 10 years. Left. Accounting. Accounting field. It worked in accounting. And what do I got right now? A farm. None of that stuff mixed. So, but it was like I had to go through different things to find what I like. And this farm thing is about to be a lifestyle. It's something I actually like doing. Like today was my first time, when I went to an event where there was vendors, and I was able to interact with people. Something I've never done. I was never the vendor. So that's what I'm saying. As far, that's what I'm trying to teach my daughters, is that it's okay to try different things, and it's not too late to do that. in order to find what you like doing. That
What you like,
yes, yes, and
not what you're supposed to like,
yes, not what
but
you're
what you
supposed to like.
what
What
actually
you
brings you joy.
yes, that you don't care what nobody say or how don't they can't stop you. They can't stop you. And then in my opinion, once you get that, once you build that, I would say that bond with yourself, it's okay to, involve somebody else as far as the relationship.
Well, here it is. What the thing is, once you learn yourself, we're getting into self development. Once you learn yourself, you you become a lot more sensitive. You become a lot more sensitive to things that disturb you. You know
Sensitive
what I'm saying?
or
Yeah, yeah. Your sensitivity is
wait,
higher.
when you say sensitive, what you mean by sensitive?
The sensitivity
Like,
level. You know what I'm saying? Like,
excuse me.
um, just just you're kind of in tune with your emotions. When somebody does something or they move a certain way that you don't really like, you know what I'm saying, per se, you're aware of it. Like you're aware, I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of learn not to invest in it. You know, people have more interest and more knowledge of stocks and bonds and investments than they do their own feelings and emotions. You know what I'm saying? And those and and even if I was going a little deeper, you know what I'm saying, about how they feel about, certain ethics and morals and things like that, right?
Hmm.
So there are people out there that, you know what I'm saying, are very in tune with market fluctuations and
Oh
impact,
yeah,
and they can talk to you all day about that, you know. But the investments itself, you know,
ain't there?
all over.
It's nothing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when I say sensitivity, I'm just saying I'm very aware, you know, um, of things like, wow, things like I hear a lot about, even with romantic relationships, is you hear people talking and it's like, I like this person, and because I like them, you know, we're supposed to be in a relationship, but I want them to change this, and this. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like so you don't
Yes,
like the person. You know what I'm saying?
you
You
like the
don't like
idea. That's the thing. People like the idea or the benefits or what they get.
great. Go ahead.
What were you about to say?
I was gonna say I was gonna say that's a great segue into
There you go.
oh, you know what?
Testing, 1, 2.
There we go. Let me see something real quick. All right. Oh, I know why.
But the Wi-Fi.
That's me. I don't have. It's not important. But anyway, what I was saying is, what I was saying, great segue. What I was wanting to talk. What I said. What my thing was,
Mm-hmm.
and I really don't even want to share it now because I really. I thought I
Wait,
was
what?
coming to the table with some heat. You know what I'm saying? I
You
thought I
said
was
you
coming
don't
to the
want to share
table.
it. What
I thought I was
do
coming
you
to the
know?
table with some heat.
Huh?
You said what?
Repeat everything you just said. You said you don't want to.
I don't even want to share mine now. I thought I was coming to the table with some heat. You know what I'm saying? You,
No, you
you,
gotta,
you,
you gotta, might as well come on, come on.
you done really, wow.
What? You had me thinking.
Well,
Damn.
actually, I was looking up that whole Maslow. I've been looking up. I've been that whole Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Right.
It's been a big thing for me anyway. But when you said that, it just kind of triggered like the thing about it. Those two things are like they're dependent on each other. All of them are really dependent on each other. But you need the interaction from others or society to even learn anything. I guess you know what I'm saying. Like you need a stimulus to learn something. You know. So man, I, this is a takeaway for me. I mean,
Ah, you said you had some.
this is a takeaway for me.
Takeaway. Why is it the takeaway? What did you put on that board?
That's a takeaway for me. I got to look that up.
What
But
you put?
so
What that
mine,
say?
it just says Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Oh,
You know, I'll once we shut this down, I'm moving on. So I'll forget all about it. So what I was gonna say is, and I've tried to do this. I've probably shot this question at least 10 times. Where I've recorded starting this, and I get in it, and I'm like, my
but
own logic just fell apart. You know what I'm saying?
with
But
yourself?
this is one that, huh?
With yourself?
Yeah, like the point that I was going to make when I said this is the one thing that I would
Oh,
say,
oh.
and now actually mine feels kind of corny. You know,
If you don't come on and say what you were saying, we're not gonna do this. You're not gonna.
I'm reluctant. I'm, re-
You're not gonna do this.
I'm reluctant to share it now, man. But anyway,
Here we go
so
now.
mine is if I have my kids are right here in front of me, and they're like, Dad, what is the most important thing that you've learned about relationships? I am going to tell them the most important thing that you can learn about relationships is there's only two kinds: conditional and unconditional.
Uh-uh.
You know.
Said one because when I asked you, can I use compounds?
No. That's one concept. There's only two kinds of relationships.
Okay.
That's the one thing that I would say.
Okay. Okay. That's
And then I would do colon. there's there's only two types of relationships. Colon.
you said I couldn't use combining sentences. You can't do
I
that.
never put a period. I said colon, and now I'm listing the two: conditional and unconditional.
Okay, just listen. Okay.
Yeah, I just listed those. So every relationship you have is going to fall into one of those buckets. You know what I'm saying? It's going to come down the chute. It's going to ping down the pegs, and there's two. There's all those pegs that can hit. There's going to be two at the bottom that I feel are going to be very important for you to understand. And like I said, that's conditional and unconditional. You know, um, I think and I think the reason why I wanted to talk about it because I think people automatically hear good and bad when they hear that. Like unconditional is good, conditional relationships are bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know
I
what I'm
see.
saying?
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and I don't think conditional relationships are bad. I think in a conditional relationship and um, conditional relationship is usually there. It is dependent on something, and kind of what you just said earlier when you were talking about the benefits package. Typically, you're either going to get a relationship with the person or there's a benefit package that you see that that person bridges you to. You know what I'm saying? So typically those are the two things. I'm either going to be in a relationship with the person, or I'm managing either the person or I'm managing their benefit package.
Oh yeah.
You know, so that's how you get into certain relationships where people talk down to each other and this and that, you know, and but as soon as there's a threat of leaving, you know what I'm saying? There's usually something that's like, no, 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 no. People act right or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's once that fear of losing, they're losing something. It's either the person
Or that
or the
benefit.
benefit package.
Mhm.
And you got to understand that benefit package that is wide open. You know what I'm saying? That could be financial dependence. That could be psychological dependence. There's a lot. There's, there's a lot there. You know what I'm saying? So we could probably go down that road. We can go down that rabbit hole like later. But
Yes.
um, but I think it was important. I think it was important to talk about though, because I feel like I feel like me telling my kids this is important because I feel like genuine relationships aren't hot anymore. You know what I'm saying? There's not really any good examples publicly of what just enjoying an individual looks like. Everything, everything is dependent on what you can provide me, kind of now. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of way we're going forward. I don't want my kids growing up in that.
No.
I don't want it to get to a point where, you know what I'm saying, liking somebody is so rare anymore because people haven't seen it. Like
They don't.
we talk about a lot of times how our kids, my kids will never they'll never have the experience that maybe I had of playing outside.
Oh no.
You know,
No.
and if nothing else, just because of the world we live in now. You know what I'm saying? Just the dangers of today are they kind of prevent you from riding your bike. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
Uh,
yes, you can't even write.
across town to your friend's house. You know what I'm saying? Waking up in the morning, riding, being over there all day, riding your bikes through neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? And coming back all the way home. You know what I'm saying? There's that that
None
in
of that.
itself. That in itself, there were so many skill sets, man, that you learn. Time management. You know, uh, you learn if you didn't make it a couple of times. You learned about consequences. You couldn't go over there no more for a week.
Yes.
You had to navigate. You started learning shortcuts. There was just a lot of things. There was just a lot of things that you kind of had to be aware of, which you just naturally learn in your environment. That environment isn't the same anymore.
No. That
You know.
stimulation is gone for them to
Yeah.
even. It's gone.
Yeah. So then you look up and you like, wow, that's a lost. That could very well be a lost. What do you call it? A lost art,
Well, lost talent.
a lost skill set. Kind of like how they talk about like kids now, like they're not learning to write in cursive.
Oh yeah.
You know,
We still have some
it's
persistence.
it's it's, it's a the times have made certain things a lost skill, lost art.
Mhm.
Either we've eliminated something, we become dependent on something some kind of way. But um, I don't know. I don't know how I got there.
Well, you was talking about shit, who was it? The
I don't
kids.
know how I got there. But
Trick
but
look.
yeah, the whole but I think the biggest thing that I want to take away in trying to explain that is I think we need to just evaluate the conversations more or less in general, and I think we need to take that negative stigma off of the conversations, the conversations that are conditional, that they're bad. You know, as long as the terms and conditions are being met of whatever that is, I mean, like I said, they could be just as good or if not better than unconditional. The only problem is there is like an if statement built in there somewhere.
Okay.
You know,
So what if your kids ask you, what's the difference? How would you describe that to your kids? The difference between conditional and unconditional love? Or I mean, no, you didn't say love, just conditional,
not
unconditional.
say, I did
So
not say love.
sorry, not
We're not
mean
even
love.
gonna go. We're not even gonna go. That's a whole. That's a series. That's not even a conversation. That's a
Uh-huh.
whole series. And
Push that back.
honestly, if we had that conversation, I would love to have more people. I would love to have that when there's people to chime in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. Because that could get interesting.
Yeah.
I've been trying to figure out that L word thing. I had went to when I was in marriage counseling. Um, the lady asked that question, right? And she
What question?
she had something. She had like, what is love? What does love look like to you? What does somebody loving you look like? And I remember I gave some like stock answer. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it was like something I heard in like an Usher song or something.
Is that dinner
Yeah.
clock on it?
Nah, I'm playing. But it was really something. It was really something that was catered to me. But the definition of love is not catered to any one person. You know what I'm saying? There's this line there. This is what it is. Yes or no. You know what I'm saying? But everybody keeps changing it and molding it to so that they can say they are, you know what I'm saying, this is love. You know what I'm saying? They want it to be, so they cater it. But then when we're talking about this over here, the definition changes, And that's the problem with that L word right now.
But remember when what did we say? Consider. I consider you.
I said I've been trying to test it and float it around where instead of saying I love you, I would say I consider you. You know what I'm saying? If I'm walking out the house and if my lady was sitting there and I'm walking out, I'm like, all right, babe, I'm out, and I consider you, and I walk out the door.
I consider you too.
You know what I'm saying? She could, if I got out there and I started acting crazy, you know what I'm saying? She would be able to go back and we have a concrete word. Like, wait a minute, how did you do this? How did you go get something to eat without asking me if I wanted anything? You know what I'm saying? Like, did
Consider
you give me any consideration?
you. Give me no consideration.
You can test that, yes or no. So, but again, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. But
That's good.
how would I explain conditional and unconditional?
Mhm.
That's a good question. That is a good question, and maybe we need to figure that out. I think a lot of times you can see typically when relationships are conditional. I think most people only gauge their relationships really during good times. So when
Correct.
everybody's laughing, when there's gifts being given, when everybody's love language is activated, that's when people all of a sudden want to measure their relationship. But
So
essentially,
and
it's like taking the
that's also
thermostat,
when
and not thermostat, huh?
someone considered that as love,
Yeah, yeah.
which is
Yeah, because it's this feeling. It's this feeling. You can't tell me that it's not love because I feel it. You know what I'm saying? But
which
what I was gonna say is, I said it's like taking that not thermostat, thermometer. You when they take the thermometer, put it on the light bulb. You know, make
Mhm.
so it's hotter. You know what I'm saying? look, I got 140 degree temperature. You know what I'm saying? It's that's that's that's
Deep.
when people take their measurement of their relationships. Usually, and usually when you measure anything, you measure your oil fluids in your car. You kind of want things to settle in a way. You don't want them to be at their peak. You know what I'm saying? When you take that measurement. So um, unfortunately, I think everybody thinks that they're in an unconditional relationship until they're not. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but I think when I start looking at things like the consideration of somebody, you know what I'm saying? As long as that's consistent, I think for the most part, I think I am um in an unconditional relationship where somebody genuinely like there's little things like me and my friends. We'll get together, we'll get together and um we can sit down and have a chat at the table for 4 or 5 hours just laughing, and that is a great time. You know what I'm saying? I feel just as good as this person over here that just went to Disney World. You know what I'm saying? Just from that experience. And that's because of the people. I enjoy the people, not the environment that's stimulating. You know what I'm saying? We're me and my friends went out to eat. We went out to eat at Ruth Chris. You know what I'm saying? Or we went to this concert. Or they bought me this. Or you know what I'm saying? It's not about. It's about those little lull periods, man.
Okay, so I have
You know,
a question about that. So this is
talk to me.
that I kind of feel, and and what you said kind of explains it. There's not okay. So you remember since we're talking about conditional and unconditional.
Right.
I'm gonna talk about the conditional, or would you, if you consider this conditional or unconditional? There is not one person that can bring you happiness in every category, which is why we have these different categories and groups of people that bring some type of feeling to you that this can bring to you, but they can't. You see what I'm saying? So is that conditional or is that unconditional?
That's if I was going to say, if you depend on anybody, period. You know what I'm saying?
Not
Period.
depending, just what the energy, the vibes, the
So when you start saying things like people make me happy, you know what I'm saying? That I say that's a dependent relationship.
oh well,
I don't.
I should have said differently then.
Well,
Sorry.
well, this actually kind of contributes to what you were asking though, right?
Mhm.
Where if I need people or things to make me happy, you gotta understand what that means. That
That's what
means that I'm
that bring like it's a natural feeling, natural energy when I'm around them that they bring to me that I may get with such and such, but I won't get that with this person because they bring something else to the table, I would say. Even though it's, they bring something else that I enjoy and like, which makes me want to be around them more. And how each of these people, like when you want to go laugh or whatever, this is one person that you already know that's gonna crack jokes and
let
stuff that makes you
me let me
laugh.
call let me call yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Or somebody you want to talk to vent to and
Mhm.
stuff that know everything about you. So it's like they bring some type of security or some type of positive energy towards you that makes the attraction, or I don't say attraction, I would say vibes, I guess, aura, energy. Um that
Reviving.
yeah, we're vibing. We're vibing. I'm vibing with this person. And then so it's like, do you think that there can be one person that can provide all this for you to where you don't feel, oh, I'm not gonna call such and such. I'm just gonna talk to this one person about everything, do everything with this one person. Not saying you got to cut everybody off, but it's just more, do you feel that there's this one person that can provide that to you or can bring that to you? Or do you feel that it needs to be multiple people?
Wow.
Does that make sense?
So I guess I keep getting. I'm trying to get back because, and when I say I'm trying to like, what's an example of something I guess that they bring? Like, what's an example of something? Like one thing.
Like I was saying, like if like I can come to you, like me and our talks. I can't go to nobody and have these talks with nobody. So it's like me and you could talk for hours and just be talking about anything. That right there, like we got good energy. We doing this. Like I'm not bored. You're not bored. We chilling. Hey, we vibing.
This is what we do. This is what
Yeah.
we do. You know, this is what
So
we
it's
do.
like that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So I can't do that with, my sister or my brother or
Mm-hmm.
so, stuff like that. So it's a different type of relationship that people that you that you bond with somebody that the I don't know how to say it. If it might even make sense. It might make sense.
So, and I've been flirting with this whole thing, and that's why I get in there and we start you know start playing around, and then now these are some real questions, and
Mhm.
the thing that I keep running into is I we keep running back to what you said, that in order for me to engage anybody truly and genuinely, I have to be whole first.
Yes.
Because you have to understand that if I am not whole in any capacity, chances are I am interacting with people because I am outsourcing these things that I cannot generate for myself. You know, I get bored, you know what I'm saying? So I outsource that stimulation. So I am
Mm,
tied I am tied to the external world. I'm not self-generating my own esteem. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, typically those relationships can be more conditional. But we keep saying it like conditional relationships are bad. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Because we talk a lot about we hear a lot about these new requirements for like dating, right? Where it's like, they gotta make this much, and they gotta do this, and they gotta be this tall. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. That there's not, to me, again, we do a lot of bashing. It's an unnecessary conversation. Everybody is entitled to their own requirements. My only knock about those are if those are your requirements and you get it and it doesn't work, don't then turn around and start saying things like there's no good men, you know what I'm saying? Da, 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 da. That's when I get involved in the
mm,
conversation. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Because because you're basically your requirements and your parameters are bad. You know what I'm saying? You maybe you're not going to find what you're looking for. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Within when you've gone to the spreadsheet and you filtered everything out. You know what I'm saying? Based off your parameters, you may not find what you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? There may be a number one in your filtered list, but your number one could be number 398 on the complete list. You know what I'm saying?
pretty nice.
you know, so um so I keep running back to this thing, and I'm like, and I know for me, with everybody that I associate with, everybody that I talk to, I genuinely love, I genuinely enjoy watching them exist. You know what I'm saying?
This.
Yeah, I like watching them move. You know what I'm saying? Like you look up and you see like You know, you see people living their life, doing their thing. It makes me happy. You know what I'm saying? It makes me happy. It's not anything necessarily that they're doing for me. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? But I enjoy them. I don't personally. I don't feel like I'm like super dependent on anybody for the most part. You know,
Mhm.
I don't. I'm not a. I feel like I have a lot of genuine relationships, and I feel like naturally some are conditional. You know what I'm saying? And that's just because of opportunity. You know what I'm saying? That's just because for whatever reason. But those are still good. Those are still
It's
great
the
relationships,
benefits
huh?
are the conditions. The benefits.
Yeah, I mean, even something as simple as like having a club buddy. You know what I'm saying? This back in the day, we used to be like, yeah, this is my friend, but this is only my friend Friday and Saturday night. Like that's when we kick it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm this is this is probably not the person I'm going to call when I need financial advice, though. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so with that being said, they're very specific. You know, very specific role.
Hmm.
You know, but in that time, this is like one of my very best friend. You know what I'm saying? In this moment, you know. So that I think that's a good example of maybe one where I would say conditional is not bad. I mean, we all everybody has them. I think what happens is I think a lot of people get into when you start getting into things like best friends, when you start getting into like taking life changing advice, when you start talking about commitments, I think I think I think you would be better off, you know, you would be better off with unconditional, where you're dealing with somebody that likes you. You know what I'm saying? They're not here. They're not here for your, you know, the physical, any part of you, the physical, mental. You know, they don't have any of that dependence on you because once that situation changes, everything changes. You know, once the terms and conditions change,
Every,
everything changes. And they can do like these companies. I mean, you know, they'll do like these companies where they send you have you got our updated terms and conditions, send it to you in the mail. they change, you can do it, you know,
can't
but
sign it unless you read it on.
yeah, but you got now maybe where at this particular time when y'all got together, there y'all's dependencies like complemented each other. But now that you know what I'm saying, let's say somebody they really needed financial independence, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what made them make a decision to try this relationship, right?
Mhm.
And they get in it, been in it for a couple of years, and now they have, you know, where that need is driving really, you know, my status. And
Mhm.
now, you know what I'm saying? I got this job, you know, this person gets this job, they get a promotion, they're starting to make more money. They're not they've been saving money because, you know what I'm saying, for whatever reason. And now they don't have that financial dependence anymore. I don't need this benefit package anymore, or this benefit package doesn't necessarily suit me anymore. Or I see myself in a completely different area. Now I can go get that benefit package. You know what I'm saying? But the terms and conditions have changed. It's not a you know what I'm saying. And a lot of people get hurt. Man.
That's
A lot of
crazy.
people get hurt like that.
That is crazy. You get that.
So so the one thing I would want my kids to understand is when it comes to your best friends, the people you have around you, the people that is shaping the environment that you operate in, you want those as much as you can. You want to be around people that like who you are. You know what I'm saying? And if you are, they'll always protect that. They won't try to corrupt you. They won't try to harm that because they like you. You know what I'm saying? So they wouldn't harm you. They would.
Um, I'm let me tell you a little story. because I had a best friend who actually,
Okay.
who I like, we was like this, like she knew everything, everything. We did everything together, everything. Grew up together, we worked together, we even got an apartment together, like everything.
Mhm.
Leading out to high school, to adulthood and everything like that. I didn't find out that she actually was going, she was my friend. She was my friend. I found out from a lot of people that she was exposing a lot of my business.
Whoa.
Yes. But I actually heard a 7-minute recording of it, of one. And when you say best friends, it's like I can't. There's no such thing. I'm sorry. I don't think there's.
Yeah.
People don't know the real definition of it.
Are you saying there's no such thing as best friends?
I'll put like this. When you said that, it triggered me because
Sorry.
no, no. The reason why you said that is because when you say, well, because I'm still thinking of the aspect of us talking to our kids, as
Mhm.
far as like us trying to teach them things that we're learning as adults. Just like when you say, well, what will we tell our kids?
Which is a problem.
And that is something I think is a big issue. It's not, no, you know who you are, but not knowing who they are. And it's like, what is their intention? Why do they want to be friends with you? Why? And it's like, that shouldn't be something that we should be even thinking about when we come across people. But it's something that happened to me. So I gotta think like that when I come across anybody. It's like, why you want to be my friend? Like, why do you want to be around? So it's like, when you say the best friend thing, it's like you gotta be cautious on that. Cautious on that word and that person that you call your best friend, because
Well,
at the end of the day, we go through stages in life, and each stage might have a different best friend. You might have a best friend in this era. You outgrew that era, found hey, found somebody else. Might be, got married and married couples. Y'all doing things together, whatever. The people that when you were single, you ain't even messing with them no more. So it's like somebody that used to be your best friend. Y'all fell apart, and now you in a totally different part of your timeline of your life where you have another best friend. So it's like, I can't. Best friend is not something I say. I don't have a best friend.
okay. Okay.
I have no best friends. No, I'm sorry. Like, I'm cool with a lot of people, but that's something. That's what I say. That's something that, as an adult right now, that is something that I'm learning, and that is something that I will love to teach my kids. You, you are all you got. You are all you got. You are all you got. So learn about yourself first. Know what you can take. Know what you can't take. Know what you're willing to do and won't do. Set boundaries. All that stuff. Because that is going to help you.
But that's why that's again why I like your answer, because I think it gives you the capability to do that. The quicker we can get to that race, you know what I'm saying, where somebody can establish like knowing who they are. um, I think the more I think the quicker they're able to make decisions You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to understand what has an impact on who they are.
Mm.
When I don't know who I am, I can't see the room shaking. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I can't feel the tremors. You know, in my life. So you know, and unfortunately, and this is when we start talking, and this is when you're talking about like development, childhood on. You know, from a
Mm-hmm.
young age on, if the louder and more turbulent, you know what I'm saying, one's environment is, you know what I'm saying, um, one's environment is,
Mm-hmm.
the less likely they are to feel, you know what I'm saying, the smaller tremors. You know, when I get used to, if I get used to medium earthquakes, you know what I'm saying, small ones aren't going to be anything to me. It's going to take a bigger earthquake to get me to react, even though earthquakes are going all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, uh, I have an example I use, but I'll just use it. So when I remember when I was overseas, right, and when I first got there, it was the first time. First time I went overseas, I went to a real chill place. You know, it was overseas still. You know what I'm saying? But it was lovely. You know, it was beautiful. It was, you know, there was laughing and all that stuff going on. When I went over
Uh-huh.
the second time, I mean, we were at war. You know, like yo, people are trying to kill. You know what I'm saying? Culture shock, man. That and and the only reason it was such a shock isn't because it was my first time. It was because my first time was so lax. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We were still at war during that time, but you know we were flying off to it. You know, we weren't in the middle of it. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying? So it
yeah.
got to a point like, you know, at night there's action happening. You know what I'm saying? So you're laying there like, oh, you know, like it's live out here, man. About 2 weeks in, two 2 weeks in, man, you're sleeping through that, man. You know what I'm saying? That
It's crazy you say that, man. It's
and so what I tell people is, I said, man, sometimes we heavily underestimate the mind and the body's ability to adapt. You know what I'm saying?
oh, yeah.
So one of the things that
Growing up, hearing shots at night growing up was normal for us. That's like that was like they shooting somebody shooting. That's all we was just like,
yeah,
well, somebody shooting. It don't sound too close, but
yeah,
somebody shooting. Go back to sleep.
ah, they, yeah, that's just the old dude down the street.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that sound
saying?
like
Like,
it came from Peter House.
and then you go back to laughing at Martin. You know what I'm saying? That's not good, man.
That's
You know what I'm
not
saying? And
hey,
unfortunately, man, as human beings, we take pride in that, man, and that's really not good. That's really
that's
not good. But
crazy.
but I think that's why I said those are the times when you kind of step back and take an assessment, and your feelings. Everybody has the same range of everybody has the same range of emotions. You know what I'm saying? It's just what are yours what are yours tied to?
Are you
Have
is
you
that?
seen have you seen have you seen Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yes,
Captain Jack Sparrow.
yes.
So have you seen so on there, you know, his little compass that he has,
They just
and
keeps.
well, whoever's holding the compass, it always points, you know what I'm saying, to the thing that you desire most. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But the key to that is you have to know it's like you have to know you to know what you desire most. You
Mm,
know, so what Jack always had to do is he always had to get somebody else to want what he wanted and then give them the compass so that he
mhm.
could see where it was
Is that
at. Because when he got it, It struggles all over the place.
Everywhere. Didn't know.
And so I be saying that, man, that's a lot of people, man. A lot of people, they're
They
that thing is all
don't know
over
where to go.
the place. You know what I'm saying? So they're not able to they can, if I can't blindly say trust your emotions or trust your feelings, because you know what I'm saying, they could be, and I say this from a humanity standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? From we would say from a reasonable human being, they there's this line, you know what I'm saying, this standard.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is, I think we once every now and then we need to be able to see if we've deviated from that. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, what we do now a lot of times is we change this standard. Like, this standard comes, people change the standard with them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
so so we're always, no matter what's going on, we're always, whoever's always in the right, because the standard is whatever they want it to be, because they want to stay on this side. You know what I'm saying? So
But then is it a standard? Is it a standard that they keep changing?
I'm not gonna be able to get. I'm probably not gonna be able to get into it today. But
Well, what you got to
uh,
write on that book? What you write?
I may do that. I may do that next. We
Oh
may
yeah.
we may talk about that next time. Huh?
What would you put? What you put? Move your head.
My hair is perfect for this. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But,
Okay.
but I don't know, man. I, I I like yours. I like your thing as an overall, um, be knowing oneself. I really like that as a fundamental foundation, to even as a fundamental foundation altogether, just across the board, of anybody just interacting in this world, period.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
And
hard.
then, yeah, and then on after yours, I would slap mine as the next step, and say, now that you know who you are, you just need to understand who people are around you. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And if you understand who the people are around you, it's kind of hard to be disappointed. You know what I'm saying? Because you never give anybody something that they're not they're not capable for. You're not promoting anybody well past their capacity or capability. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know. But I like, see, you got me with that one. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that. Not expecting that.
Gotcha.
I don't
um.
I
Yeah.
don't I don't know how much I don't know when I started this thing. I don't know. I don't know how much time I got.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Don't
So look,
know.
I'll just talk about this a little bit, because we may answer the next question. So I don't know. I don't know. You won. I think I'm going with yours.
We are
Yours
not.
is
I won. We are not
you're
doing
I
that.
like yours. I like yours. I like yours. I thought
It
I
was a
thought I
good
had some heat.
conversation. It was a good conversation. Ain't nobody win.
I thought I thought I had some heat, man. I thought I had some heat when I came to the table. But so 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 there's this what we were talking about is, I was saying, what I wrote on the board there is, living on a curve. It's a concept I call living on a curve.
Uh,
And the basis of it
that's
is, I mean,
broad.
you understand gradient, right? Huh?
That's broad.
That's broad. I'm
Li-
gonna explain it. I'm going to explain it.
Okay.
So, um, so in grade school, when teachers would grade on a curve.
Yes.
Yeah. So just for clarification, we're talking about like you come in, you took a test was worth 10 points. The person in the class they got the highest grade with a 5. So the teacher adjusts the grade from 10 being the high score to the 5.
Yeah.
And then they grade off of that, right? So when we talk about like moving standards, and things like that, what we kind of get into is um, there's there's this natural standard of just humanity, human being to human being. You know what I'm saying? Which is
Mm-hmm.
typically what I would expect from you. You know what I'm saying? I should give you that's typically, you know what I'm saying. That's typically the we could use that as a standard. What
Uh-huh.
happens is when people start wanting to move the standard, you know what I'm saying, because they want it to align. Uh, they want it to align. You know what I'm saying? They keep downgrading or degrading the standard a little bit, which is
Okay.
which is what this whole defaced currency thing was about. You know what I'm saying? Let's get rid of all these little choppy standards and let's uphold this one. You know what I'm saying? So that on a scale of 1 to 10, you know what I'm saying, the fives aren't like the 10 now. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what we're running into. That's kind of what we're running into is fives are now tens, but when you have the teacher comes in, an example like it is kids in the class, you know what I'm saying? They take this test and they all of a sudden, it's like they get the highest kid in the class gets a 5. And now that's the A, and now you have a bunch of A and B students because everything is based off this 5.
Mm-hmm.
And these students realize that, you know what I'm saying? So they don't study anymore. They don't do it because now they're shooting for 5s. You know what I'm saying? And they're cool because they're A students, but they've done that all along. Now you get a new student that comes to the class. You know what I'm saying? Straight go. You know what I'm saying? Straight go getter. You
Mm-hmm.
know. So now you got this go getter in there. And they get in there, and now you have this. Now you know what I'm saying. These people that were getting like A's out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got this new kid that's came in and they're getting 9s and 10s on the test. Immediately, once that
Yep.
happens, you got to understand that grading scale goes back
Yep.
up.
That
So
standard stuff
now,
right there.
so now you have these standards, and now you have these standards, and now you have these people that have been operating optimally. You know what I'm saying? They've gotten a false sense of who they were because they've been here for so long that somebody's come in and now shifted the standard. You know what I'm saying? Shifted the standard back up. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we see it a lot, right? Like everybody's out here like wilding out. You know what I'm saying? And then somebody will walk in the room and be like, "Hey, yeah, I'm a 40-year-old virgin." It's like, you know what I'm saying? We laugh. You know what I'm saying? We joke. You
Yeah.
know, and at the end of the day, man, that's commendable. Well, we should commend that. That should be the standard. But if that's the standard, some of us might look pretty bad. You know what I'm
And we failed
saying?
tremendously. We failed.
So what happens is, man, when that 10 walks in, when that virgin walks in the room, they invalidate everybody because before that person walked in the room, we were saying all we were creating our new standards. We were saying, oh, 3 years not a problem. Oh, I was young and dumb. I was just wilding out. You know what I'm saying? We come up with all these ways. You know what I'm saying, to still be like within the limits. You know what I'm saying? Like we make ourselves equal to the person that's
That- That's
that's that's had the best, the most self discipline out of everybody in the room. You know what I'm saying? We discredit them and we tell them no, that's not possible, that's not real. Oh, they must be this, they must be that, because that invalidates us. And that happens all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome.
And unfortunately, the biggest place we really see it is with our economy, because our economy is so dependent on um, spending. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand that. I think that goes back to that whole concept I said yesterday when I was not the last time we did, where I was talking about destroying your self-esteem and selling it back to you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, man, you didn't care about nothing, man. You was out there getting dirty and sweaty. You know what I'm saying? You was
Didn't care. Didn't care. You was
you know what I'm
lucky.
saying? You you didn't care about none of that, man. You know what I'm saying? Back when we used to go, it was just a different time. When we used to go and hang out and party, we used to go out, man, and we were just talking about it earlier. We'd be in the club dancing. You know what I'm saying? Boy, you in there sweating. You know what I'm saying? Got your tie loosened up. And you was just having a good time. Now everybody's too cool, man. Got your shades on. We sitting on the side. Everybody's too cool to have fun. You know.
Decide. Just like nobody did none of that.
Man, I've started going live, man, with a friend of mine. Y'all coming in to over here. Uh oh. Uh oh. Hopefully it doesn't cut off. How long have I been here? Oh wow, it's been a long time. Okay. 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 I have live guests.
Oh, okay.
Hello. Hi.
What? Y'all scared? I heard say, "Oh,
But anyway, what was I talking about? I was talking about that whole living on a curve thing. So yeah, so a lot of times, man, when that happens, the standard change and what people want to do is they just want to invalidate that quickly,
oh,
quickly. And we see that all over the place in all different walks of life. You know what
oh
I'm
yeah."
saying?
And it's like, who holds them accountable for them to be like, "Hey, no, you're wrong, and you're not equal to him, and you need to accept that."
So 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 a few years ago, we went through the participation trophy era, right? Where you no longer could have first, second, and third place. Everybody was a winner. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of translated into like the real world where now you really can't tell anybody that they're wrong, and you really can't. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's free to make the choices they want to make. You know what I'm saying? Which hopefully when they make the choices, you just hope that they understand the consequences of those
Yes,
choices. So um,
and
we
then
have a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of different denominations of people, right?
mm-hmm.
Uh, they're not like the groups that they give us. You know what I'm saying? Like groups where they group us like by race or group us by gender or sexual orientation or all those different little groups. Like there's really like more prevalent groups than more prevalent groups than those. I really don't even think those groups are really relevant, to be perfectly honest.
Mm-mm. No, not at all.
All right, guys. Thanks for stopping
Oh,
by.
Of course.
thanks, thanks, guys. Did we get
So I don't
to
know,
deep?
man. Huh?
Hmm?
You said what?
We didn't get too deep, did we?
I did not hear what you just said.
We didn't get too deep, did we?
I hope not. I hope not, man. Every time, it's one of them things. Like when I be talking to people, I have to. I just hate when I be like, I always have a response, and that like For real, man. Like I always have a response, and
Not everything
yeah.
need a response. I'm just, my mom will
Not
always say that
everything
to
needs a
me.
response.
That's what
Who are you? Who are you, Mr. Know-it-all? You know everything?
I know what I know.
Yeah, man. Some of the stuff, like, some of the stuff, man, I've been thinking about for a long, long, long time. There's things that get sold to us that I don't necessarily completely buy into.
Like what?
So
When you say sold to us, like you talking about like items, or what are you
I
talking about?
mean,
As in like produce and consumer goods? Like what are you talking about?
everything.
Versus what? Like where are you comparing it to? Like it
I'm,
should.
I'm comparing it to, huh? I'm
I'm listening.
I'm comparing it to because I was like most things that we're fed, most things that are developed aren't. I do not believe are developed or sold for the I guess for the well-being of people. I feel like at the end of the day, there may be like 40 decisions made, you know what I'm saying? And over here, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna say things like people are important, humanity, this and that. And over here, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of profit's important. But at the end, when we get to the finals, you know what I'm saying? When profit and humanity are head to head, you know what I'm saying, head to head in the finals, I just feel like for the most part, the final decision is going to be a dollar amount.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be based off
It
the
always
amount.
comes down. Always.
Yeah, yeah.
Always.
So there's a lot of things like there's a lot of things I don't want to get too heavy in but I feel like there's a lot of things that really they really devalue humans a little bit, you know. So that's what
Yes.
we're here for, man. That's what we're here. We're to talk about. You know, give people other options. You know what I'm saying? Make them feel good about. Make people make people individuals again.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? People out here they're really afraid to be themselves, man. But there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I had that problem. You know what I'm saying? I did. It's the reason why I have a million recorded videos and and I've probably only released like altogether like what I had two podcasts and then I had like a I had did like not a convention. I had a booth at a little convention.
But where though? Yeah, you gonna release them?
Release what?
Grand release.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. No.
Grand
You
release
know what I'm saying?
party.
You said what?
Have a grand release party
No. No. You know what I'm saying?
of them. Well, how many
This
videos you said you got?
how many videos do I
Yeah,
have?
recording.
I,
You said you.
let me
100.
tell you something, man. I've probably
Well, just of you,
I've
or just like
no me like trying to do like the podcast. I've probably been recording since like 2000 like 19 or 20. You know what I'm saying?
dang.
I have clips all over my hard drive, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I have so many videos to turn on in my car. But I'm gonna tell you, man, I be feeling silly, man, sometimes,
Wow. Silly about
real
what?
silly. I don't know.
Why do you do that?
What do I do what?
You do that to yourself. Silly about what? The other day you was like, I feel embarrassed. About what?
I was embarrassed
Talking?
because I was like this, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why I was embarrassed. I'm talking like this, man. This is crazy, man.
You was not. You were.
That's bananas, man. You know what I'm saying? That's like that's like when you be talking to your parents, man, and they be like this, huh?
Like this,
You coming to the barbecue?
huh? Now,
Where
how
where
do I?
where
No, they be like this. Now,
where are the
how,
kids at?
how do
And
I
it's like
come around?
that's that's what I look like, man. I was embarrassed a little bit. But
Hey,
you roll with it, huh? You
hey,
know,
hey,
we're here trying to figure this thing out for a good cause. You know what I'm saying? So
give me some laughs. Hey,
any
that was funny.
anybody that's watching still, you know, it's a learning curve, man. This live thing is crazy, but I like it. I like it because I like it because and this is why I need a team. This is why I need somebody to do it because I'm gonna tell you from the time we cut. So I've done the ones that I've done all my own setup. You know what I'm saying? The lighting, the recording.
And you just
Uh,
talking to the camera.
well, yeah, those, yeah,
I
man,
mean, that's what I'm asking you. Your recordings are you just sitting there talking to the camera, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
do
I
you
don't
want
even
to
know if
bring
I can.
those topics up since it's not you and you
You
got me?
said what?
Do you want to
Hold
bring
on. You
those?
said what?
Do you want to bring those topics up since it's not you anymore? Whatever
What do you
you
mean?
have,
Don't?
what
What do you
you
mean?
got on
Don't?
those, the recordings that you have. That's just for why not?
because 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 I have a goal. I have a goal in what I want to do, and unfortunately, if I get in my own head, I don't think it comes off the way I want it to. It doesn't come out the way I want it to. I don't have anything to feed off of, so I can hit a cloud and be gone. You know what I'm saying? I don't have anything. I don't have anything to ground me specific. You know, per se, because I can start talking.
But that's what I'm saying. You got